do when you find the perfect clothes for a cosplay but they're the wrong color? Well, I'm glad you asked. I decided to make Riddler's jacket from the new Batman movie, and I found the perfect coat for only $8 at the thrift store, but it was brown. I also had a white hoodie that I got for cheap, and I decided to dye both of them with dark green and apple green dye. The first order of business was to wash both the items. And then I took my designated dye bucket that I got for cheap at Walmart and filled it up with water with the garment so I knew exactly how much water it needed. Then I took her over the stove so I can control the temperature. I also added salt, which the instructions say to do. I don't know what it does, but I did it. And then I got to adding the dye. I did a little bit of green at first because it's easier to do less than more because it likes to go dark really fast. I also added some of the apple green. It's a good idea to do a test strip first, even though it's a different material and different color than my jacket, but I can get an idea of the tone, and I realized it was pretty blue looking, so I added a lot more of the yellowy apple green. And then I put my wet jacket right in there, very carefully because it was really heavy and really large, but I was able to just kind of stick it in there and stir it around. After a couple minutes, I decided to take it out and rinse it so I could get an idea of the color. It's better to do less than more, like I said, because you can always throw it back in the dye bath or adjust accordingly. And then I bundled it up like a little baby and took it to the dryer. And now we wait to see where we're at. Okay, and it looks pretty much like it did when it started, so I knew I needed to add a lot more dye and put it in for a lot longer. By the end of this, I used half the bottle of dark green and the entire bottle of the apple green, and that seemed to be the perfect ratio for this brown jacket. I put it back in for about 10 minutes, and I don't know where I went here. I'm rinsing it again with cold water, and I can see that the water is a lot more pigmented this time, so I'm hoping for better results. I took it to the dryer, and in the meantime I worked on the hoodie. I got the hoodie wet again before putting it in the dye, that way it would take to the dye a lot better, not turn into like tie-dye. So I just stuck it into the exact same dye that I was using for the jacket. I quickly added some golden yellow dye because I could see that it was going a lot more blue. I think this is because the jacket was tan and had some yellow undertones, whereas this was white, so I needed to counteract that blue. After several minutes, I rinsed out the hoodie and also threw it in the dryer to see where we were at. And here are both the garments when I was done. They turned out really cool. And to finish off this cosplay, I just had to add the little symbols and question mark to the jacket with white paint and splatter crap all over it. And here was the end result.